World War II has long been a fertile ground for video game narratives, and few genres have embraced it as wholeheartedly as first-person shooters. The setting provides an unparalleled backdrop of high-stakes conflict, heroic endeavors, and morally unambiguous battles against tyranny. Although the setting is on hiatus for the industry giants, it remains a popular setting. The Sniper Elite series is one example of a series that is carefully built around this setting. The release of Sniper Elite Resistance in January 2025 marked the latest installment in the long-running tactical shooter series developed by Rebellion. Set against the backdrop of Nazi-occupied France in 1944, the game introduces a new protagonist who collaborates with the French resistance in an effort to sabotage German military operations. Despite its engaging premise and polished mechanics, many critics have pointed out the game's lack of significant innovation. However, I believe the notion that a game must innovate to be successful is a reductive perspective that overlooks the value of refinement and consistency in game design. This review evaluates the strengths and weaknesses of Sniper Elite Resistance and explores the broader question of whether a lack of innovation inherently detracts from a game's quality. My name is Chris, and this is Gamer's Delight. At its core, Sniper Elite Resistance retains the hallmark mechanics that have defined the series since its inception. The game places heavy emphasis on precision-based sniping, requiring players to take into account wind direction, bullet drop, and heart rate before pulling the trigger. This level of authenticity is a fundamental aspect of the franchise's identity, offering a distinct experience that differentiates it from more fast-paced first-person shooters. The allure of the Sniper Elite series lies not only in its ballistics and gritty wartime ambience, but also in its unflinching embrace of a very particular power fantasy, the meticulous art of long-range assassination. And, of course, there's the X-ray kill cam, a macabre spectacle that turns every headshot into a high-definition anatomy lesson, adding a visceral and satisfying element to successful hits. While some critics have dismissed the feature as gimmicky, it serves a dual purpose, reinforcing the game's emphasis on precision and rewarding player skill in executing long-range eliminations. The game's level design also remains faithful to the franchise's philosophy of open-ended mission structures. Each map offers multiple routes and approaches, allowing players to choose between stealth and direct engagement. This design philosophy encourages creativity and strategic thinking, catering to different playstyles and rewarding careful planning. While the lack of radically new environments may disappoint some players, the depth and replayability of these levels should not be overlooked. Tracing the series' development over time reveals a fascinating evolution. Early entries in the franchise were focused on delivering a satisfying sniper experiences, but were somewhat constrained by the linear mission design and rudimentary AI. With each installment, Rebellion expanded the series by introducing larger maps, more intricate objectives, and greater freedom of approach. By the time Sniper Elite 4 rolled around, players could tackle sprawling Mediterranean environments with an almost Hitman-esque flair. The bones of an engaging sandbox were there, but something was missing: unpredictability. Speaking of unpredictability, I should probably not mention the plot. From a storytelling perspective, Sniper Elite Resistance attempts to introduce a new protagonist and setting while adhering to the overarching themes of the franchise. Unlike Carl Fairburn, the protagonist of previous entries who acted as a lone wolf operative, Harry Hawker's interactions with resistant fighters introduces a sense of collaborative resistance that was previously underexplored in the series. However, the narrative structure remains relatively predictable and dull, making the skip button your best friend in cutscenes. Missions frequently involve sabotaging enemy installations, assassinating high-ranking officers, and gathering intelligence, objectives that have been staples of the series. Yet, while the overarching plot may not be groundbreaking, its execution remains solid, and I'm perfectly fine with that. The game is not marketed as a revolutionary narrative take on World War II. The story is merely a means to an end. Its only purpose is justifying the player's murderous adventures. It's never focused upon the player and never demands to be taken seriously. The most common critique of the Sniper Elite franchise has been a perceived lack of innovation. Many reviews argue that the games do little to evolve beyond their predecessor. This critique raises an important question. Is innovation always necessary for a game to be considered successful? In the world of video games, innovation is often equated with quality, but this assumption overlooks the importance of refinement. I'd argue that iterative design can result in a more polished and enjoyable experience. The Sniper Elite franchise has never been about radical innovation. Rather, it has thrived on providing a consistent, well-crafted semi-tactical shooter experience. The precision-based sniping mechanics, open-ended mission design, and stealth elements are the core pillars of the series, and Resistance successfully preserves and enhances these aspects. Sniper Elite 5 addressed the criticized lack of innovation in a spectacular fashion by adding the Invasion mode, which has made a comeback in Sniper Elite Resistance. In what can only be described as a glorious union of espionage and PvP chaos, the Invasion mode allows another player to enter your campaign as an enemy sniper. Suddenly, what was once a methodical game of patience becomes a high-stakes battle of wits. Every shadow could conceal a threat, every vantage point a potential death trap. Players must now outsmart an adversary who is just as cunning and resourceful as they are. Most of the time, that is.
Damage, but not a kill.
It's as if Dark Souls' invasion mechanic donned a ghillie suit and learned to calculate bullet drop. For a franchise sometimes criticized for its predictability, this feature injects a much-needed dose of dynamism. But the Invasion mode is more than a clever gimmick. It's a microcosm of what makes Sniper Elite unique. At its core, the series thrives on the interplay between predator and prey, a dynamic that's amplified tenfold when the prey is another human being. There's a delicious irony in watching a game ostensibly about precise, calculated violence descend into the sheer anarchy of cat-and-mouse PvP encounters. This mode represents a bold step forward for a franchise that has always excelled in delivering curated moments of tension and release. While I recommend completing the campaign without Invasion mode for the first playthrough, it is certainly the mode that has brought me the greatest joy. While Sniper Elite Resistance may not revolutionize the tactical shooter genre, it exemplifies the strength of iterative game design. Its lack of radical innovation does not diminish its quality. Rather, it ensures a refined and polished experience that remains true to the franchise's identity. The game remains a compelling entry in the series, even if it does not break new ground. Is it expensive? It most certainly is. Would I recommend paying full price? Probably not. But I do recommend this game, just as long as you set your expectations right. For all its charms, Sniper Elite still faces a peculiar challenge: the risk of becoming its own worst enemy by adhering too rigidly to a proven formula. Even the most sprawling maps and the most exhilarating firefights can't completely mask the creeping sense of déjà vu that comes from playing yet another mission involving Nazi officers, classified documents, and conveniently placed explosive barrels. The series' greatest strength is also its Achilles heel, as it risks becoming predictable, if not at least reimagined. So where does Sniper Elite go from here? The obvious answer is to double down on what works while continuing to experiment with new mechanics and modes. Imagine co-op campaigns where each player has distinct objectives that may conflict in dynamic environments. Moreover, there's a wealth of untapped potential in other historical or even fictional conflicts. A Cold War-era Sniper Elite could be just the shake-up that the franchise needs. The familiarity of the mechanics allows returning players to feel immediately comfortable, while providing enough refinement to maintain engagement. For newcomers, the game offers an accessible yet challenging introduction to the series' signature mechanics. Yet, like any sharpshooter worth their salt, Rebellion must keep its sight trained on the horizon, always searching for the next big innovation. Because, let's face it, even the most spectacular headshot loses its charm if you've seen it 100 times before.